Good morning to you, and welcome back to today's JRPG Weekly Update. Broketober continues this week with the release of a lot of really good games that you're going to want to stick around for, but before we get to those, we've got some new updates to talk about for some RPGs, including Divinity Fallen Heroes, and today I'm going to be the bearer of bad news once again when I have to deliver to you guys the news that Divinity Fallen Heroes by Larian Studios, which was announced back in March, has been put on indefinite hold, and it's really unfortunate. This was just announced back in March. They've been working on it for much longer than just that. However, as their release date, their initially planned release date of November 2019 draws near, the team says that it's become clear that the game will need significantly more time and resources, and resources means money in this case, most likely. Larian Studios plans to basically shift the rest of their focus onto finishing up Baldur's Gate 3 for the time being, which I think is a really smart idea, and then maybe they'll return to Divinity after that happens, after that's released. But the game's not been canceled, it's just indefinite hold, which is concerning because that's kind of like the next step in that line of progression. But hopefully we'll hear good news after the release of Baldur's Gate 3. Anyways, we also have some sort of good news if you're interested in that sort of thing. We've got Dragon Quest of the Stars, which is coming to the West in 2020, and this is a mobile RPG, which is why I'm not really super hyped about it, personally speaking. But if you like cell phone games, if you commute and stuff, and only have your phone to keep you company during that travel to and from work every day, besides yours truly, that is, then this might be something that you will be interested in. So the closed beta for this game is going to be starting in October on the 30th, and it's going to start, it's launching in the West in 2020, but the closed beta starts on the 30th, and you can register to be part of that beta by following a link in the video's description. So, in other news, Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore Edition, that's the Japanese version, will be based on the Western release of Tokyo Mirage Sessions for the WiiU. And again, I guess that makes me the bearer of bad news, because there are two kinds of people. There are the kinds of people who really care about this sort of thing, and then there are the kinds of people who really don't. And the people who do care about this are going to be pretty upset, because the reason is, when Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE came to the West, a lot of things got kind of glossed over, I guess you could say. There were some outfits that had to be changed. Certain plot lines had to be completely changed in certain aspects that kind of rendered some of the plot pointless and meaningless. And, well, it's one of those things that's sort of wrapped up in like the censorship that Nintendo was doing at the time, and as a result of that, we're seeing some echoes of that that are being reflected now, and it's going to affect the Japanese release of the Switch port, which is obviously also going to affect the US release, or the Western release, when we do get it. If you don't care about that kind of thing, I totally understand. If you do care about that sort of thing, though, the Wii U version does still exist, and you can still get it and apply the fan patch using hacks and stuff that exist. So I guess that's your alternative, because I'm guessing that as soon as the Switch version comes out, nobody's really going to be holding on so tightly to their Wii U copies anymore. But that's just my hypothesis. What do you guys think? Anyways, Persona 5 Royal also got a little bit of an update. Not really anything of much substance, in my opinion, but a lot of people were really interested by the fact that this next game, this release, Persona 5 Royal, is going to be 10 gigabytes larger than its original release. And I think that that's going to be most likely a factor of the fact that it's going to have some 4K assets, higher resolution textures and stuff, and that's going to be pretty nice. There's also going to be some more animations and stuff. So this really won't tell you a whole lot about like how many quests will be in the game, how many environments will be in the game. It's really hard to extrapolate that just from an overall file size, considering text and scripting often don't really require very much in the size of like storage capacity. It's almost always just the visuals and the audio and the video that really will bump up the visual, the size of the game. But for people who are on metered internet, that's gonna kind of suck. So you'll make sure you want to get a copy of the physical copy. But you know, it's kind of neat to know that anyways. Also in other news, Bethesda has delayed the Wastelands update for Fallout 76 until early 2020. This patch, or is it a patch or is it an expansion? I mean, at this point, it may as well just be a patch, because basically they were planning to add NPCs with this back into the game, or they are continuing to attempt to insert NPCs into this game, among other things, addressing one of my major gripes with the game's concept from the beginning, but also simultaneously sort of abandoning one of the very few things about the game that make it unique in the Fallout universe. So, I mean, it's gonna probably change the game in some way. But anyways, for people who are really looking forward to seeing NPCs finally inside the world of Fallout 76, you're gonna have to wait a bit longer. Surprise. In community news, there's a fan translation patch that has just been released for Super Robot Wars, or Super Robot Tyson OG Saga Endless Frontier Exceed. Gotta love these names of these games, I tell ya. The fan translation was done by Artema Translations, and congratulations to you guys. That is a huge accomplishment. This is a game for the Nintendo DS that, of course, we didn't ever get here in the West. So if you are a fan of the Super Robot Wars games, this is your chance to go experience that game that you missed out on in the DS lifespan. And the game is, or the patch is available on the GBA Temp forums, and it's got a really long URL, so I'll just link to that also down below in the video description. In SuperDerek news, I ended up taking last week off from everything, from streaming the JRPG weekly update, because unfortunately on Saturday night, on October the 12th, a good friend and family member of ours, Milo, passed away unexpectedly. So it took us a very long time to kind of get over, not get over, but come to terms with that. And you know, we were just reeling for a while. So I had to take that week off. This weekend, just, you know, a couple days ago, I was down in Texas at Retropalooza, and I got to meet several viewers of the show and a lot of other YouTubers. I got to see Dreamcast Guy and the Game Chasers, Wood from Beat 'em Ups, and everybody was there. It was a lot of fun, and it was exactly what Amy and I needed to help kind of get us recentered. It was a really great way to see everybody there, and if I got to meet you when I was down there, make sure you leave a comment. It was really awesome to see you. Now, this week, I'll be returning to my regular schedule on Twitch. This delay will, however, affect the release of my reviews. So the Halloween episode that I was planning to release on Halloween, probably going to come out after Halloween, unfortunately. But hey, that's kind of how YouTube goes, right? So now, the JRPG forecast for this week starts off with Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 3. This is coming out on the PlayStation 4 on October 22nd. And if you haven't already seen Trails of Cold Steel 3, if you somehow have missed out on this series, you definitely need to take a look. But most likely you've heard of the series and are well aware that this is definitely a game worth checking out. Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers, a game that I've had my eye on because it looks pretty unique to me. Now, this is coming out on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch on the 22nd as well, and I think I'm going to take a look at this one because it just has this interesting, like, it takes place in 1999, time travel, and a unique art style. I'm pretty interested. Also this week, the Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 collection, the physical release that's over on Play Asia, is going to be shipping from Play Asia on October 24th. So if you haven't already got your pre-order in, you'll want to make sure you do that. Also, and if you do decide to do that, be sure to grab your copy using my PlayAsia affiliate link down in the description, because that really seriously helps support the show, and I appreciate everybody who's already done so. Cat Quest 2 is also going to be coming out to on all consoles on October 24th. It is already on PC, so if you have a PC and prefer that, then you don't even have to wait. You can go play that right now. And Mary Skelter 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch on October 22nd as well. And what's really kind of interesting about Mary Skelter 2 is that this also is going to include a release of Mary Skelter 1, which only came out on the Vita, and now you can play it. If you missed out on the Vita, now you can have 2 games for the price of 1 on your Switch, which is just such a cool thing whenever companies tend to do that. I only know of a few offhand that have done that with like Bayonetta and Bayonetta, I guess. So that's just pretty cool. It just kind of sweetens the deal a little bit there. So if you guys like keeping up to date with JRPG news, make sure you get subscribed, because I'll have another one for you guys next week. In the meantime, I am SuperDerek, and this has all been news to me. Have a good day, everyone.